Hi guys, welcome back to the podcast. Before we introduce our next episode, just to ask you for a small favour, I really appreciate the hours that some of you are investing into watching the podcasts that we've done in the past. But I'd like to ask you to do me one favour that would take you seconds. If you enjoy the show, please hit the subscribe button. And if you enjoy any show in particular, please click on the thumbs up. It'll make a massive difference to the podcast. So thanks very much for your continued support, feedback, and I hope you enjoy this one.
So they had to send one of the security guards to McDonald's.
No way.
And I swear to God, they came back with like 25 Big Mac meals or McChicken meals. And that's
Helicopter Sundays.
That's what the player was eating. Mental. And when you tell people, aye, good one. I'm telling you, that's what happened. And we ended up going into the tune, into Tiger, I think it was, with our tracksuits on. Big Marvin's got his t-shirt, keep believing. It was crazy.
That's the thing about that running, Big Marv. That just seemed to capture everybody. And I don't think I realised as much at the time until I got to know the biggin, and he told me how bad that injury was, and they had to sign a disclaimer saying that if he played on and something happened, Rangers were not liable for any payouts or insurances, and his contract would basically get put in the bin. And what drove him was not only Rangers to win the league, but possibly even more important to the biggin was Trinidad trying to get to the World Cup. And the mad thing was, he got both. And then when they got to the World Cup, he couldn't play because that's when it eventually did go. And did you know how bad his injury was at the time?
It was crazy because I played in that game, Dundee away, and I think we were cruising. I'm sure we were beating them easy, but it wasn't an easy game. But I'm sure we were maybe 2-0 up or something. And I was playing in midfield, and I think I got taken off, and I remember sitting on the bench, and it happened to him. And he was running, but he was dragging his leg, and we were like, oof, that's no a good one. And we were thinking, okay, maybe he's just thinking that he's like strained his calf or something. He's just not want to put all his pressure on it. And it wasn't after the game that the doc's like, no, he's done something to his knee. And it was a League Cup final. It might have been a week after or 2 weeks after. And he's like, no, I'll be fine for it. I'll be fine. And I'm like, he's done his cruciate. He can't be fine 2 weeks. But to be fair, the gaffer says to him, look, I'll give you every opportunity. I think the gaffer would just try to make him feel better. Give you every opportunity to play in the game, but you're cruciate, you're talking 6 months. He's like, no, I'll be fine to play. And then to be fair to the gaffer, he did give him right up until the night before the game. And he couldn't play. But I was grateful because I was at that time, it was we had the squad numbers, but the cup finals was always 1 to 11.
That's right. It was only the league that had the squad numbers, wasn't it?
My number was 12. So I knew that I wasn't fucking playing. But then the gaffers come in and says, look, Marvin's not going to make it, so you'll step in for him. And I was like, all right, fine.
Incredible big guy. I've been fortunate enough going on with the last sort of 5-6 years and spent a bit of time with him, and came and done some like presentations and stuff for us. I went to Athens to supporters down. We spent 3-4 days in the same room. Great to get to know the big guy. And he seems like one of the most happiest, positive people I've ever came across. I've never seen him without that big mad laugh he has and the big smiley teeth. But is he like that all the time?
All the time. All the time. It's actually annoying because even when you get in a bad mood, you still get a big laughing face. It's funny because the first time I met Big Man, I obviously played against him that, but we went pre-season to Germany. It was like Germany or Austria. It was right on the border. And that was when Big Dad on that signed. We signed Dragon Bladenovic. So, they used to document it at one time. So we went and gets to the hotel, and the gaffer's like, right, reading the rooms out. Bob Malcolm, Marvin Andrews. I'm like, all right, good big man, good laugh.
You remember him?
Nice boy. I was remembering him, right? So first night, pre-season, so I need my sleep. 2 a.m, I hears him up talking. I'm thinking he's on the phone. I'm like, the fucking big bastard, man, he's woke me up. Fucking. So I didn't turn around and look at him because I'm thinking he's on the phone. I get back to sleep an hour later, see him again. I turned around, I thought, big man, I'm fucking trying to sleep. He's up, he was reading his Bible. And I'm like, woke up in the morning, I says, Gaff, you need to get me out the room for him, man. He's fucking up at 3 in the morning reading the Bible. But that's what he done every night. So I think he had to be in a room himself. He had to. It's no wasn't fair on him because obviously I don't have the same religious beliefs that he has. And it was the same with the other boy, Hamid Namuchi. He was a Muslim, so he had to eat. Sometimes he was eating like daylight or wasn't allowed to eat. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, he was fasting during daylight.
Daylight, and then he was eating during the night. So he was the same. He had to go in a room himself because of that. He was up eating. I don't know who he shared the room with somebody. They were the same mechanics. He was up eating, but no, big man was brilliant. That was the first time I met him. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I need to get him out my room.
Talking about eating and Big Marv.
He
can eat, can't he?
Oh, he's always been like that, to be fair. Always. I don't even know how he doesn't put weight on. The amount he eats. It's mental.
No, we landed in Athens. Big Jaws, my mate for Greece, picked us up at the airport to his hotel. And before we'd even went to rooms, sat down for lunch. And we've ordered whatever we ordered, right? And he'd ordered a salad starter. This big salad bowl came, plonked it down, huge, right? So big it's like that, it, right? A couple of bits of dressing, both noticed like he's like that. A shovel. So then the guy comes with the starters. So I can't remember what I've got, what Big George has got, and there's a wee bowl of salad for thing, and he's looking like that. Who ate the table salad? It was for a lot of stuff that's share with our mates, right? And he went and got another bowl. The big he had wolfed into the whole lot. These two big, I mean, he eats healthy. Yeah. But Christ, I've never seen anybody eat like Marvin Andrews.
Have you seen him with his tap off?
Mate, I shared the room with him for 3 days.
So he's ripped, but he never be at the gym. See when he came to Rangers.
Shut up!
I swear to God, I used to say to him, big man, how the hell have you got your build? How did you get your build? Because he was never in the gym. And he's like, I used to, when he was young, his job was, he used to work for the Carib. He says, so I used to have to take like 6 pallets of beer up a hill, drop them off, and then back down again, and keep doing that. That's how we end up getting his figure.
No, he's ripped, and I mean that's as well after his playing days. And I remember after the lunch, we went into the room. It was amazing because we walked in and George we were playing a game for them that night, and we were going to a couple of events and stuff. And he had strips made for us. And he had them all laid out in the bed, like a trachea or something like that. Andrews 4, Houston 5 on the 2 beds, right? But the room, it was weird. It was quite a big room, but the beds, normally you'll have like a bedside cabinet, a wee space, and then another bedside cabinet, another bed. So the beds are maybe 6 foot apart. For some reason, it had one total bedside cabinet between these 2 beds, so it was like a foot apart, right? So he goes into the room, right, and I'm like, that's cracking jerseys, not the big one. He's like, Craig, you go to the bathroom, do you want to use it before me? And I was like, no, you're all right, big, and you crack on. I'm going to let you clean his trough for a minute and put some away, right? So Ding is into the toilet, right, and I've looked at the bed and I went, that can't be like that. That freak you out being a foot away from somebody. So I've pulled the beds out. I put the 2 bedside cabinets in between the 2 of them, and I've spaced it out so there's about 4 or 5 foot of difference. And I'm just finishing as the big one came out. He's like, what are you doing, Craig? I says, I'm protecting my underpants. He's like, what are you talking about? I says, see if I get up at 3 in the morning with your big black face that away from me. I says, I'd shite myself. But he came out the bathroom, his tap off, and I'm like, you wouldn't want to take a pop bath, would you?
I can remember when he just started training with us, because obviously we're used to training with like amateurs, so everybody's always good on the ball. Big man wasn't the best on the ball, but great defender. And to go better on the ball, but we used to do all the wee boxes, the wee toros. So the boys are all popping that about. Big man used to love tackling, smashing people. And I remember the ball bounced in the middle of the box one time, and Fergie's went in. And he's went in me seat to just like knock it by Big Marv, and Big Marv's put his foot up, man, broke his nose.
Serious?
Never seen Fergie Gaffey's nuts. So yeah, big fucking useless bastard. Right, you did. Broke his nose in training. Oh, it was funny. But the big man, to be fair, he gave everything in training. See what he done in a match day? He done that every day in training. Didn't give a shit who you were. He done it in Athens, and we're only playing 7 asides. But that's how named he wouldn't need him in training. He used to just put his head anywhere. And see if you kicked him in the face, he would go up and he would just like wipe it away and just go on with it.
You were fortunate you played with some great players. just rhyming them off there, when he started. You're even going to look at bits with Avalanches and great players, and Big Puzzle and the Boers and all these people. Fantastic company you were in. But who were the characters?
The characters in that dressing room. We had probably a wee group of maybe seven or eight that used to always have a laugh, a joke every day. Big Dado Puzzle was good, even though he was a foreigner. He was always involved in shenanigans in the mornings and that. He would always be involved in it. You would get people that just weren't interested and they would come in, want to get their training done, and then back to their families and things. But no, most of the boys were good. It was probably me, Fergie, Big Craig Moore, Stevie Hughes, Griggsy, Moros, Stevie Thompson. Most of the Scottish ones are just like the English speaking ones and then you would get like Arthur Newman and that, they would put their wee bits in now and again, have a laugh and a joke. But I think it was 5 years, used to travel for Hamilton. It was called the Shandy Bus. This is another one, you tell people stories and they're like, no chance. So it was a time when all these sports scientists were coming in and they were saying you can't drink now as much as what you used to. It's no, you can't do it. It was a boy, Frank Nuttall, came in, fitness coach. You can't drink and be training high level every day. So Kevin Muscat just came to the club. So it was me, Kevin Muscat, Fergie, Oz and Stevie Hughes. So we travelling together. We got the big Honda space shuttle. And so when the sports scientist says that, Muskie's like, right, well, shandy time. So there was a rule where if somebody said shandy time, they went back for training, we had to go to the Bovril Bridge and at least have 2 pints. And I'm like, it's pre-season, you can't do that every day, man. We done it every day. We went to New York for pre-season, 2 weeks there in New York, and we done it every day there as well. The gaffer caught us, and he was getting off his nut, and he's like, he's only going out. I'm not letting you out for a drink. He's taking a piss. And that was the year we won the treble. And
does it make a difference?
Every day pre-season, if we won the half Jake, we had a few pints.
And who was the outstanding players that he played with in our team at that time?
The outstanding player that when I was growing up would have been, even playing in the reserves with Durante, Durante was frightening even though his knee was gone. I'd have loved to have seen him playing at his pomp. Charlie Miller was frightening. He's probably the one that had the most ability out of everybody. Mm-hmm. But I think the one who had the best career was Fergie. Mm-hmm. Even like Ronald De Boer, they were frightening. The ability was unbelievable. But I just think for somebody that turned out week in, week out, it was every game, 8, 9 out of 10. For longevity as well, for 4 or 5 years was Fergie.
Mm-hmm. I mean, every transfer window we were signing 2 or 3 big players, and you're in a squad of 20, 25 players, and you want to be playing, so you want to be in that 11. So it must be a bit of a mind bender because you want good players to come, but then you see, oh, Christy plays my position. Yeah. But out of all the signings in your duration at Rangers, what was the one that just got you? You thought, well, that's a proper signing.
I think De Boer would have been one of them. I remember all the speculation that Hartson that was coming. Then 20 minutes later, De Boer had signed and Hartson was away, and what's happening here? And then I can remember I wasn't in the squad, but I can remember watching the game with the PSG and the Champions League game at went to penalties, and Arteta was playing, and then we signed him. I was like, Jesus Christ, how we managed to get him? He was frightening, but I think it was just at that time it was the norm, wasn't it? We signed some players that I think we just signed for the sake of signing. Like we signed the big boy Egon Ostenstad, was done brilliant for Southampton, then came up to Rangers and didn't look as if he had played the game. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It
happens there, Bob. Is it players have maybe just had a good 18 months, 2 years by pure fluke, they've had a bit of form, or and he was always going to go back down to that, or are these good players but just come to Rangers, and whether it's Scottish football or just playing for an institutional club the size of Rangers at Disney, what stops them? I just think it's a club. I think it's some people just, it's too big for the jersey. Like
I don't know, but you remember we signed 2 World Cup winners, Charbonnet and Stefan Givas.
Mhm.
And Givas scored a couple of goals the first few games that he played, and then it wasn't getting a game. And then you're like, how the hell can he not get a game for us? He just won a World Cup.
That Charbonnet was bonkers, was he not?
He was probably he's one of the weirdest guys I've ever met. Really nice guy, right enough.
Aye.
But he used to come in with a wee remember the wee maestros he used to get?
No way.
He used to come in into tune with that. He brought it off of France. That was his motto.
Austin Maestro thing?
He used to drive about in one of them. Didn't care. Didn't win a World Cup. He wasn't giving a shit. He just that was his motto, and that was it. Didn't stand on white lines. Don't know if you've ever seen him. He used to like daily routines where he would jump on back and forward for the white like 18-yard box. Didn't he?
I've seen him doing weird things, but I never realised that.
Didn't he stand on white lines? Weird though.
My penalty then.
He was a good goalie, but then he got injured and then he struggled.
I remember it well. I can't remember who. I'm sure it was a European night, and it was an innocuous thing. He just the boss said he'd pop up, run about the corner, maybe the 6-yard box. He just came out, grabbed it clean. I don't think it was any interference, and he went down and stayed down. I'm sure, if my memory serves me right, it was at the Rangers end. It was Coleman Road. I just this thing. I might be wrong there. Might be my head it as I got on. Sometimes you details, but I just remember him going up for this ball, coming down and just game over. Was his knee done, wasn't it?
Aye, I think it was a bad one. He was out for months. I'm not sure. We see that he was there before Stefan Klos. I think that's why we signed Stefan, because he was injured. I'm sure that was it. I don't know if Stefan might have
thought he was a great player. He was some goal. But I don't know. But was he lucky enough to play 20, 30 games for Rangers? He didn't get that many.
I think when Stefan came in and he was number one, and I think he wanted to go, he wouldn't have been happy being number 2. Anthony Yemi was there as well at that time, and he was really good.
See, when you look at some of the backup goals with him, with Theo Snelders, with some really. We've always been blessed. I mean, if you look at the goalie McGregor, we've had generations of always having a good goalie. And even when you look at some of the backups that we had, maybe even Big Double, he came as a fan, you remember him. But we've had some fantastic goalies and backups, and I can't remember the last time we had a dud, to be honest with you.
You look at the ones now, you've got obviously Butland, you've got McCrory in Scotland squad, and you've got McLaughlin, third choice, who was in the Scotland squad last year, and can't get anywhere near it now. So it's definitely a position we've been fortunate to be.
You think even a big game came up, and let's say McCrory and Butland were injured, God forbid, touch wood, it didn't happen. But if you heard they were injured and John McLaughlin was in goals next game, you wouldn't be that bothered. You wouldn't be like, oh God, it's going to be a tough gig, because
you expect them to do a job, didn't you?
They too, 99% of the other teams in Scotland are stars. We're just really, really fortunate, and we have been for some time. But Charbonnet, I loved him when he used to start singing the French national anthem, his name and all that. It was crackers. See the foreign boys that you were fortunate enough to play with. Do you keep in touch with any of
them? We've got a group chat. Most of them's on it. Victoria, Andre Flo, Arthur Newman, Mikey Mills, Ronald De Boer. Most of the boys around about that era, they're all on it. So we have, it's not all the time, but now and again, like something will come up, somebody will put something on Twitter or something, it'll be a wind up, so you just fire it on the group chat and then everybody starts taking a piss at them. Like Ronald De Boer, I've always on his back about his hair transplant, so or Big Ammo, when he's on that Love Island thing, he was doing on Italy or something. Something that you probably don't know every day that's happened. But when it comes up on social media, then you're like, off.
Slaughtered.
That's right in the chat, he's getting it. But
it's a bit bizarre, Tor, Andre Flo, Mikey Mo. It beats your WhatsApp group with Lana Wolf, didn't it?
Oh, I had to delete that. Fucking hell.
Are you on it anywhere? Did you commit it?
That was one video too much.
I didn't have a clue, because when Big Stan started the group, there must have been about 200 people in it.
No, I thought it was a wind-up. Who's calling ourselves that?
Well, see, obviously the ones that you've got the number in, like you'll show up, Bob Malcolm, and maybe 10 or 12 that I had on my phone. But it was like 190 folk that I didn't know. It was just numbers. And then I woke up one Sunday and this video gets fired on, and you've got Stuart McQuarrie running for cover, and Stuart left the group. Right? It's just a bizarre set off. But, so it's just, even thinking that, you're on a Torrandry floor, I mean, that's just bizarre, the level of players that you came across in your time.
Big Tory was one of the nicest guys. He was, it's like Scandinavians, they don't really care about it, and they just got on with their life, and that's what he was like. He was, even though he was a fucking superstar, just got on with it. He was just a nice big boy.
And you mentioned Mikey Mills there, another guy that just a talented football player in that. Oliver Kahn.
Yeah, Mikey would have been almost certain he would have been at Man U or something. At that time, big, massive club, or even like Bayern Munich or somebody that was, they were flying at the top. He would have been, if he never got that injury, he'd have been definitely at a big club.
No, it was. I just remember you could see it happen. It's clear. Where is he going? There's only one thing he's doing. He's flew out his box. He was nearly at the touchline, and Mills is gone. And he's just, as soon as you seen Can coming out, you thought he's halving him here, and fucking didn't have. But Mikey came to Sons of Struth one night to meet the kids and done a wee Q&A and stuff for him. And it was a goalkeeper. Any questions? Yeah, who's the best goalkeeper you ever played against? And he just turned around and says, Craig, you say his name, I can't say it. And I thought, that's going to hurt. It was just, definitely. It was horrific. There was no need for it. There was no need for it at all. A guy Oliver Kahn stays in his box. He's got to round him, get a shot off, but he's came flying out the park nearly off the line and just one intention. It was quite horrific. But he was some player. What was he like to try and play against at training?
Like his wee tongue. He would do it every day in training. You knew he was doing it, but he just couldn't get anywhere.
Body would move and the ball would go the other way.
Even though your brain knows he's doing it, your body just goes. And don't know how many players I've seen him doing that to Ibrox. And he ends it, turns, swivels and shoots, scores. He's done it every second week. But great player. And he had to adjust his game because of his knee, I think, when he got back fit again. Yeah, I think he lost a wee bit of his pace and all. But very strong. He's another one with his t-shirt off. Ripped.
He does all the Thai boxing and all that. But
do you know who a player that never really got recognition that he deserves probably at that point? At that time when all that stuff was that Jonathan Janssen.
Aye.
He played a lot of games and scored a lot of goals. And
I remember he would a lot of times he would be out wide. But I remember, and I think it predominantly European games for some reason, they would put him through the middle. And I just thought it was blinding there.
It was finishing wise, he was up both feet. He was quick. Maybe he's touched maybe let him down now and again, but he was always there running about. And even though you had Tory Andrew Flo, Mikey Mills, De Boer, JJ was always in and about it, but he didn't get the recognition that he probably deserved because he scored a lot of goals. And
a lot of important goals. I think it's just down to timing, and if he was maybe one or two of that company weren't at Rangers at the same time as him, he'd have folk to this day walking about with names in the back of the shirt. But he was certainly a good player, rapid as well.
Very, very quick, both feeted as well. Scored goals with both feet.
But see the time you're playing. I mean, you played a lot of Old Firm games. I probably imagine maybe 15 or something Old Firm games. Good number of European games. Who was the most difficult and talented player you played against?
In an Old Firm game?
Or Old Firm, European games, whatever.
I remember playing against Obafemi Martins and Adriano, front of Milan. They were scary. The midfield that night was boy Pizarro. And I keep on forgetting his boy's name, but he played with Argentina and he was unbelievable. He went to Leicester.
I'm the same as you. You can see him.
I just always, he's one name that I always forget. But this boy was frightening and all. And then to actually play against these guys who were playing in World Cups and all that, it was something that you don't really think about, is it, when you're growing up?
Aye.
But in the All Firm games, Larson seemed to be, wasn't involved in the game, then he would score a goal and you're like, fucking hell, that happening? Aye. And then I don't think they had a squad that was just maybe as talented as yours as in football wise, but their squad was more size.
A big squad at that time.
They played a certain way and it worked for them. And they had dig about them. They had Lennon and that in the middle of the park would put the boot in. Petrov was maybe there'd be special one that would get forward and get goals. Didier Agat, he was just a flying machine up and down the right. They always had 3 big massive centre halves, Bobo Baldi, and it just did them the way they played, and to be fair, they were good at it.
It's one of these things that I might be my memory might be doing a disservice. Something will happen at an Old Firm game. I'm sure at Parkhead you were on the bench. The coppers had to move you or something.
That was at Ibrox.
Was that? I tell you, your memory. I've got a visual thinking that I thought it was a dugout at Parkhead. What happened?
No, it was. We were playing. I was on the bench. And remember the big boy Gary McKenzie? Mm-hmm. He's brought up Lark Hall, mad Rangers tattoos over his body and all that. His dad and all that was the same. So he's on the bench and all. But what happened? The ball rolled off the pitch and it was trickling down towards your dugout. And then Neil Lennon's running off. So he's went to kick as if he's going to smash into the dugout, but he's turned like he's done a wee drag back and like a piss take. But big Gary McKenzie's went like that and like went for it. He's felt like trying to block it. So we're up as myself laughing, and I never jumped up at that point. But what happened was we had the throw in. So we took the quick throw. Nachos went up, and I don't know if it was Nacho that scored or Big Dad opened, but we scored right through that. So I've ran out and I'm going like, get up, yeah. But the police it was the police commander was in the dugout, the tunnel.
Aye.
So he's obviously seen me going like that, get it up, yeah. To let me. He's thinking that I'm doing it to the Celtic fans, and it's no, I'm doing it to Lennon because of what he just done before that. Just came out back of the neck up the tunnel.
Shut up.
Aye, dragged me up the tunnel and says, next you'll be getting done for inciting a riot. I'm like, what are you talking about? We've just scored. And he's like, no, the gestures you're making to the Celtic fans. I wasn't making gestures to the Celtic fans. It was Lennon for what he done. And he's like, right. And then he said, any more you'll be getting took up. You'll be getting to jail basically. And I was like, right, no worries. Fucking hell. That's what it was.
You were just having getting it back at Lennon.
It was nothing to do with any Celtic fans. It was just because what he done was funny. Because I was pissed myself laughing because Big Gary McKenzie shit himself and turned his body in that way. And then obviously we've just been right up the park and scored straight for that throw in. But it was mental.
Any other mad stories like that? Memories of the daft things that have happened during games and in play that you're maybe as fans, you're watching the ball and other things that were never.
No, not really. It was. I can remember. Also, we used to go for pre-match before games. A couple of times we dodgy ones, full bowl of pasta, a couple of hours before a game, running out, fucking spewing up on the side of the pitch.
Hi guys, I'd just like to take a minute to talk to you about NordVPN, which is a company that I use their services. I use it majority of the time when I'm travelling abroad, when I want to keep up to date with the programmes I'm watching at the time, or more importantly to me, the sports that I want to watch when I'm abroad. So it doesn't matter where I am in the world, I can still watch the channels and the games and the sports that I want to. It also gives me security and some privacy that I'm looking for when I'm browsing the internet. They've got an exclusive huge discount available to viewers of the podcast, and they'll give you an additional 4 months free on top of whichever package you go on if you use our code. To get that, plus a 30-day, no quibble, money-back guarantee, all you need to do is log on to nordvpn.com/Craig, CRAIG, and that'll get you the exclusive discount plus the 4 months free on top of whichever package you go for. So go and give them a look, guys, and certainly I've had no problem using them the times I'm travelling abroad when I mostly use them. Thank you very much.
Big meal done it and all. Same bowl of pasta. It's no settled in their stomach. Try to run about, fingers down the throats, sick and all that. But nah, there was nothing. No really during games. It was mostly stupid things would happen when you're away and trips and things like that.
You've lived the dream, right? We're coming up 2006. You've done over 100 games for Rangers, fair to say, easily. And it's coming to an end. How did that come about?
I can remember, I don't think I was injured coming up to the end of the season, and I still had a year left. But I knew that Big Egg was leaving. And he said to me, "Bob, I think you'd maybe look at trying to get yourself out." was a sponsored dinner now. The sponsored dinner is one of the last things of the events of the season. And I'm like, what are you talking about? But he knew he was gone, so we were all sitting having a drink with him outside with his wife and that. And he's like, the manager that's coming in, I don't think he's your cup of tea. And I'm like, who is it? He's like, Guen, French, like, he's disciplinarian and he's going to work everybody hard and all this. And I went, right, fine. I says, but obviously I'm going to want to be part of it, so... but then I found out he was doing all they done the mad fucking 7-day hikes across mountains and all that, into the desert.
Sahara marathons.
And I'd heard a couple of stories about him. And I can remember going to, was it Vegas or San Francisco or something, with the NASA thing. Mm-hmm. And we'd done a press conference and Alistair Johnson was there. So we had been out the night before, so I was kind of still had a wee bit of hangover. And a boy asked the question, how do you think you'll feel when Guen comes? And I was trying to have a laugh and a joke with it, and I went, well, that'll be me fucked, because I've heard he's running through the desert for 7 days, so if that's the sort of train we're going to be doing, then I'll be knackered. Having a joke. And sure, when we got back to Glasgow, it was actually worse than that, because it was like the full complex at Murray Park. He started putting crazy times on it where you needed to do a full lap within this. I'm like, Jesus Christ, we've never done it like that before. You don't even get time to train for it. But don't get me wrong, a few of the boys were struggling. Even like Big Dado hated it. The Frenchies didn't like it. And I just said to him, look, I don't think it's going to work between me and you. And he's like, well, get to me and Big Marv as well. Big Marv was one of them. He didn't fancy him. But the strange one was he didn't really know much about the players that were there. He must have knew that he was going to overhaul it and bring in whoever. But I remember he pushed a few to the side. He would let us train, wouldn't let us join in any pre-season games. I think we went to South Africa, and that was the time when Fernando had the meltdown in the plane and get sent home. We wouldn't have anything like that. That was a kind of a beginning and end for Fernando as well. And he never really took the culture. He went to we used to train, because like during Dick, or even though Dick was a tough taskmaster, he would score all right. We're training at 10 o'clock, and we trained at 10 o'clock. Gwen would have us in at 8. We weren't training till like 11, and then he would say, right, you can go home and come back at 4. And we're like, what do you mean go home and come back at 4? He's like, well, for the afternoon session. I went, well, we need to travel to Hammond through all the traffic and then come back. And he's like, that's the training times. So we end up, there was like me, Fergie, Craigmore wasn't there, me, Fergie. Can't remember, we ended up, we had 6 or 7 days. Now we used to have the wee pool room and the table tennis bit upstairs in the lounge. They had to take them out and put like couches and that in, so we could try and have a sleep. So we were having to sit about for 4 or 5 hours. So the players weren't having it. And I think you've seen that in the performances. The first few games we struggled. And he's like, don't just keep doing it, we'll come good, but we never was.
So how long were you there between Guen coming and you went away?
The last day of the window, I left. I knew that there was interest at the boy, what's his name? Northern Ireland, Jimmy Johnson. Mm-hmm. He was a manager at Ipswich. So I had contact with me just with him, saying that they wanted to speak to me, but they told me to get released first, because they didn't want to pay anything, or like that. They would like pay my wages or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I think me and Big Mav the same day went and says, right, I'll just let us go. And like, right, fine.
And is this you talking to Guen at the time?
Well, it ended up I was talking to I don't know where he was. I was talking to Guen. I spoke to him a few times in his room. And the ironic thing was they let Ross McCormack go to Motherwell. Mm-hmm. And then they didn't have a clue that it was an under-21 rule. So they've let one of the best youth players go because he kind of struggled a wee bit in pre-season. They let him go, and then they had to bring in. I think they ended up bringing in Yves Kalou, the assistant manager's girlfriend's boyfriend. Yves Kalou's daughter's boyfriend.
Shut up.
They brought him in. He was one of the players that came in to be like two young French kids come in. They were
Just
never
to go on the bench because you had to.
Just to be involved because they needed younger players. And then obviously I signed for Derby, and I got injured after about I think I played about 6 or 7 games and done my ankle. And Bolly Davis says, "Look, go and take a week or 2, go back and see your family up the road." And I came in, I was in seeing the physios at Rangers. And I'm sitting talking, and that Yves Kalou's came out and he's sitting speaking to me. He's like, "Oh, but what happened and stuff?" And then he said to me, "But would you come back?" And I'm like, "No." "Would you come back?" I'm like, "This guy's fucking no for real." But I don't know if he was just saying it to see what I would say. But it was just a strange setup. They knew that they were struggling, and they let the players that were like maybe would have ran through a brick wall for anybody for the club. They let them go. Like even Big Marv might not have been the best football player in the world, but what they needed at that time was a defender, and they let him go.
Well, it was a total enigma. We all knew before he came. There was fair warning that he was coming, and we all looked into him and thought, "Christ, we're going to get a real proper. This guy's different gravy. Might be a bit different the way he goes about stuff, but this guy's good." I think everybody's as a fan, your default setting is you want everybody that comes to be great. So maybe know that unusual, but with him, what we thought we were getting and what we got was just 2 different things. What was it? What do you think? Was it just the way he managed players, or was it tactics? Was it the way he trained? What was his biggest problem?
It wasn't just him; it was his full staff. It was like there was named in his staff that you could go and speak to. Do you know what I mean? There was named you could go and have a word, even if you didn't want to go and speak to Alec McLeish. I could say to Jan Wouters, "Jan, give us 2 minutes of your time and speak to him," and Jan would fucking listen to what you've got to say and then try and give you advice to make it better. And but there was named in that would you could go and speak to. There was everything was like this, and see if you never got in that time that he set you. You had to do it again. You just keep doing it until you get in that time. And they don't realise that you're getting more tired, so the likelihood that you getting in the time it's never going to happen until you get fitter. So it ended up, it got to the point where it was like tests every day. We were doing for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and the training was rubbish. It was like training you used to get when you were 10 and 11, like 3 in a group, and you'd kick the ball to one and then run and do a 1-2 and then kick it to the other side, and it was like crazy. And then we started getting into like the wee possessions and stuff, and then he would send players off for making a tackle. We need to tackle. And he's like, "You don't tackle in training." And then I think that was the biggest thing. When the first game we played against Motherwell, and I'm sure we went to Fir Park and struggled, but we won 2-1. And then every away game we were going away and we were struggling. And I think Fergie does, I think he says it, like, played Inverness and get beat at Inverness. And he came in the dressing room and says, "Fucking not good enough." Had I go to everybody, and the manager's like, "No, just keep doing what we're doing." He went, "This isn't the Rangers. We need to win every game." And I think that's what he didn't understand. Because you can play in France and you can win the league in France and maybe lose 5 or 6 games, because every team's, apart from maybe 2 or 3 or 4 teams, are a level above, but everybody else can beat each other. And that's Scotland. That's not the same.
In Scotland, if you lose 3 games, you don't win in the league, and maybe there you could get away with losing 6 or 7. And no doubt.
And I think with him, I don't know if the rumours are true, but apparently the van was already packed up weeks before that he was leaving. His garage had all the stuff in it. I think he used the stuff with Fergie as an excuse to get out. I think he couldn't handle it.
He's wanting to get out, but didn't he want to walk out? Is it Leon that he came for?
He'd won the league.
Times.
And in the Champions League, the squad they had was frightening. And then he came to us, and you're thinking, Jesus Christ, he's got
because he had a proper pedigree. It's not like one. I mean, to be fair, even like Phil Clement, if you just looked at what they'd done before they came to Rangers, you would have like Guen 9 times out of 10. And yet, one's came and been away, got a right good start, and the other one just couldn't buy one.
I think the difference is Clement's done his homework in the club, and the big word that he uses all the time is win. Doesn't matter how we play or who we're playing, it's about winning. And you can see him even in the Hearts game last week, 3-1, cruising, a couple of minutes to go, and he's just out in the touchline shouting at Desers, run.
There's no closing down.
Doesn't want to, even though there's a minute to go, you just keep doing it. And that's what you want. You want somebody to be on your case 90 minutes, and the players are doing it for them, aren't they?
Aye, I'm just thinking that, the way that you left would be hard if you were at a club that you liked, never mind one that you supported. But see, when you know that's time up, I need to go, that's got to be a tough decision. And then see that, that's that, and pack my bag up and get my wee man bag, put my stuff in it, and I'm out that door. What's that like to live through?
It wasn't easy, because obviously I used to do it. Was like, if I never travelled with the boys to training, I would always go. My family was for Springboig, so I would always take my own motor, and then I'd go to see them before I went up the road to Hamilton or whatever. I'd go down to the pub. Used to always sit in the pub with the boys and play pool. And I knew it was coming to an end, so I stopped doing that. Do you know what I mean? I stopped doing the things that I was doing. But I can remember he let us go when he never took us to South Africa. Sorry, and they arranged 2 or 3 games against different teams. Like, I think one of them was Partick Thistle, and he's like, "You need to play in it." And I'm like, "I'm not good enough to go there with you, but you want me to play in this game?" That'd be like 16, 17-year-olds. And he said, "You need to play." So I said, it was coming up for the 12th of July, wasn't it, in Belfast. So I said to the man, "You need to let me. My head's gone. I need to just get away for a couple of days," because he was taking the team. And he's like to me, "On you go, just get your head together, but try and get back for the game." I'm like, "All right, no worries." And to be fair to Durante, I missed my flight home, and I phoned him. I said, "Wee man, I've missed my flight." And he's like, "You're an idiot." So I never got any further than him. He obviously never said anything, but I can remember coming back in the boat with my dad and all that, and he phones me. He's like, "Bob, you've been sacked." I'm like, "What do you mean I've been sacked?" He's like, the manager's found out that you never turned up for the game and that you've been sacked." So I'm on all the way back on this boat thinking, "Oh, what's happened, man? I've been sacked." And then he phones me and goes, "I'm only kidding you on." 3 years or something on that boat, man. I'm shitting myself. And he was only to wind up. But that was a difference. If you needed something like that, you could go to Durante, Bomber, or these guys and go out like fucking heads up my arse.
There was nobody in the first team at that point.
Even the doc, see, because of the hard running, and it wasn't just me. There was maybe like the wee boy Ollie Bernard was still there. He's French, or French speaking. Hated them. Absolutely hated them with a passion. Big Dad Opurzo, French speaking. I know he's Croatian, but hated them. You had the boy Rodriguez, fan.
Yeah.
Hated the training, because they normally would come in, they maybe under Big Alec would maybe do 20 minutes hard graft, like running, and then it would be all football. This was, you're talking about an hour and a half. Constant running. People's backs were gone. I had a bad back anyway, but my back used to seize up, see if we're like running on hard surfaces. So I says to the doc, "We're doing these runs for half an hour, 40 minutes. My back's starting to seize up." And he starts going, "But it's because you're not fit enough." I says, "So how long do you want me to keep doing this before I'm not going to get any further than this?" They would never like say, "Right, we maybe give you a different programme or whatever to try and..." No, it was just, that's their wine, that's it.
Aye, it's got to have been tough, mate. Play you getting through it, but you went down to England, Derby, doing the Championship at the time.
Championship, yep. Under Billy Davis.
Even at that, out with maybe at that time the Old Firm games, and potentially maybe, I think what Aberdeen were like back in the day, but maybe 1 or 2 other games tops. See your mid to lower division Premier SPFL teams. How did that compare with the Championship? Was that a step above the lower levels of SPFL?
Aye. Even, as I said to you earlier, that the Championship at that time was a lot of very good players in it, but the football wasn't as great. I don't really like to get the ball down and play now in the Championship, but back then it was more route one, big striker, big centre halves, get it up, get run about, whatever. But Bolly Davis tried to change that, and when I spoke to him, he's like, we want to kind of we've got Seth Johnson was there. We want to kind of try and play together and build a team run about yous and to go and like push for the Premier League. And I was like, fuck, as soon as he said things like that, I was like, that's what I'm looking for. And then you don't until you actually get there, because when you're playing with Rangers, you don't look at any other teams. Do you know what I mean? And then I've looked at the league and they were third bottom, and I'm thinking, no, what's going to happen here? But he's like, look, I've just come into the club and I've got these players that will do well and all that. And to be fair to him, he was true to his word. He brought in experienced players, Michael Johnson, big Darren Moore, boy Mark Edward. They played with Norwich for years. Really good team, experienced team, and totally different for playing in Scotland though.
Mm-hmm. And you got promoted, didn't you?
Came up through the playoffs.
And then before you left, did you play any games in it? You were in the Premiership before you left then? Did you play
I went on loan. I get before maybe about. Well, I got an ankle operation maybe just before Christmas. I was out for 3 months. I came back, but struggling, and then was in and out of the team. Played in one of the playoff semi-finals against Southampton. I was miles off it. I was struggling, and I sat down and I spoke to Bolly, and I was like, I'm struggling to fucking run properly. He's like, I know. And then he's like, we want you to be involved for the playoff, the final. And it was like, we've got a 2-week build up to it, and I was in training, and I still wasn't anywhere near it. And I said to him, I'm no fit. I said, there's no point in me trying to play or being on the bench and nowhere near it. And then he's like, right, fine. So the boys, Stephen Pearson had signed, and he ended up, he scored the winner. But it was strange, because even though these players were experienced, it was acceptable to draw and maybe draw 2 games and win one and then get beat one. But I can remember we drew with Sunderland the first game I was there. I never played, and then I played on my first game was against Wolves at Molineux, and they were favourites to go up straight through, and we beat them 1-0, and everybody's gone like that. That's when they started saying, "Oh, this team are no bad here," and I forgot what I was going to say. We played against Preston, and that was a big game for the gaffer, because that was all club and it fell out with them and stuff. So we ended up drawing with them, but we battered them. And I've come in after the game and I'm going, that's fucking not good enough, John. We need to start winning games like this. And you can see all the boys looking at me as if, what the fuck? And then I think the next game we get put out of the cup after Doncaster away. So getting off my nut then. And then the boys are like, well, why do you go off your nut after the game? I'm like, because getting beat's not acceptable. And then one of the boys had to say to me, that's what happens down here, it's not the same. And I couldn't get it. Just because of the mentality I had when I was at Rangers, that you have to win every game. I just took that down there. And then when Stephen Pearson came, he was the same. He couldn't accept getting beat or drawn. So it was good and that's probably the reason why Bolly brought players like that in, to try and create that mentality.
It's weird, isn't it? And it must be a culture shock. I mean, Derby are a decent sized club. Nice stadium, got a good history and whatever. But for Rangers, with all due respect to Derby, their fans and everybody that ever played for them, it's no anywhere near the level of Rangers. Was there anything, like the training facilities, was there anything else that you just, when you arrive there, you think, Christ, this isn't right, because what you were used to was so much better? No,
to be fair, I went. The first time I spoke to Bolly Davis about Gondon, I met him in the Halton in East Kilbride. We sat down, had a coffee and he told me what his plans for the club was. And to be fair, I was already engrossed with him. I loved the way he was talking, what his plans were. Because I'd never met Bolly Davis before. I'd obviously seen him on the TV and that, and knew that he'd played for Rangers when he was younger. But meeting him and speaking to him, just felt as if I knew him for a few years. Then he's like to me, look, don't make a decision, come down, we'll bring you down, show you the stadium, training ground and all that. And I went down, it was at night time, it must have been about 6 o'clock, so they've put all the lights on in the stadium. And it was, I'm like, fucking hell, stadium was unbelievable. And he's like, right, we'll come, I'll take you to the training ground. But it was at night and you couldn't really see it, and so we'd drive into the car park. He took us inside the training ground. Wasn't it like Murray Park, but it was an older kind of a building. It had all the mod cons inside it. Everything that you need. There was nothing extravagant, but it was good. And then I went back the next day. Seen the pitches and all that. They were frightening. The youth set up, so the first team were it, and we all went in the same building. And then I was like, I think this is for me. Make the decision.
Then you went Motherwell a wee bit, and then ended up at Australia. Did you and Charlie go at the same time, or was one of you there first? And
I was meant to go when Charlie went, so I kind of shut myself and I went. Don't
maybe Charlie are going to Australia.
No, it was either me or him. It was going.
Was
it? Both at the same time. So Craig had also phoned me and said to me, "Do you fancy coming to Australia and playing?" I'm like, I'd played for Motherwell the second half of the season when I'd left Derby. We finished third. We were in Europe, and Mark McGee he's like, I want you to sign for another year. And I was like, but there was rumours that he was going to Hearts, and I'm going like, I'm not right about to sign for Motherwell and you go to Hearts, and then it's not the same. Because even as much as what people don't like about Mark McGee, he was brilliant coaching on. He got Motherwell playing really well at that time. I mean, I want to know what you're doing first before I make a decision on if I'm staying at Motherwell or not. So in that time, spoke to Craig. Frank Farina had phoned me. He said, I want you to come over. I was a manager at the time. And I was like, can you give me time to think about it? And I just, the long flight and how far away from your family, I shut myself. I was like, can't do it. So I'll have another year at Motherwell and be in Europe and that, because the gaffer had already committed. So then Charlie went. I can't remember where Charlie went. I think he went for maybe Belgium or something. Or not.
Was it Norway? Because he was Belgium and Norway, wasn't he?
But she might have went for there. And then the next year I'd played with Motherwell and I'd fell out. Well, I never fell out with the gaffer, but I hadn't played a few games, and I was like, I'd spoke to Frank Farina again. He phoned me again and said, look, there's another place come up. Would you fancy coming out? And I was like, why don't I come out when it's the holidays, come out and see what it's like, the setup and stuff, maybe for a month or whatever, and you can have a look at me, I can have a look at the place, and we'll take it from there. And he's like, brilliant. Flew over. My first day, went to it's like they call it it's like a rehabilitation day, so they don't train, they go to like a swimming bath, but it's outdoor, and they do so you're like not getting injuries, and that's anti-prevention stuff. Done that, went for a swim. I'm thinking, what the hell's happening here? When do you train? And then like that, no, you do this every Monday. So you play on a Saturday, travel back to wherever you're playing on a Sunday, do that on a Monday, and then start training again for the rest of the week, Tuesday. And went up to a place up north, Cairns in Australia, played against Fergie's team. Mm-hmm. And he's like to me, I spoke to Fergie, but we played his team, went a night out, and then Fergie's like to me, don't sign with him. I'm like, what do you mean don't sign with him? He's like, come and sign for us. And I'm like, fuck off, I'm not going to be up here, man, it's the back and beyond. He's like, no, we don't play here. This is just where we've came for pre-season. I was like, nah, man, nah. Because his team was just a new team starting up. And Officer Craig and Charlie were at Brisbane North, so I was like, no. So then I kind of, after that, I was like, I want to stay and I want to sign. So that's what happened.
And Charlie talks fondly about his time in Australia. Did you have equally as good experiences, or yours?
I loved it, but it was Charlie's older than me as well, so he was coming. He knew he was coming to the end of his career. I wasn't really thinking about it that way. I just wanted to go and play and enjoy my football again. But it was the same. It was like being back at Rangers again when you're 18. It was like a party kind of a
different vibe.
It was like we stayed in the Gold Coast, so we were travelling about to training, travelling an hour back, and then by the time you get back into where we lived, it was 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So you're going to the pub for your lunch, and then you're having a couple of beers or a glass of wine, and then before you know it, 7 o'clock at night. And then you're having to go to your bed to get up at 6 in the morning for training again. And it was brilliant, but it just wasn't for the. It's probably not like that now, right enough, but it wasn't as professional as it should be.
Mm-hmm.
But as I say, it was some place to be in, and to give credit to the league, there was a good league, good players in it.
Aye. There's always some decent
well.
players you see from there. And the other thing is the way the Australians do sport for their kids. I was at Australian Sports Institute or something like that. The amount of players that program's produced over the years, they know how to, not even just football, sport in general, they take it serious.
Well, I think only in so many states is football like the main sport. Australian Aussie rules. You've got rugby league, cricket, and then you've got football. So I think the time that I was there was a lot of like ex-players and stuff starting their own like academies and things like that. And I think Big Craig started one with one of his business partners, and it got, within a short period of time, it got quite big. And it ended up being like a business that they ended up starting off. So I think now that's got bigger, and football's kind of taken over now, and you can see that with the Australian national team are starting to come back to what it used to be years ago.
Good level. So came home. Did you do a full year?
I done a year, yeah.
And then I'm sure Charlie told me you got a new manager.
Aye, Big Ange.
Did you ever meet him, or were you gone before he came in?
No. I played in Ange's first game and I broke my nose. And this is why, see, when I came back, I gave Dan Spellers in the papers saying that it was shit coach and stuff. It was like the training was shit, sorry. and it was probably a disservice to him because it wasn't him that took the training. It was a Scottish guy called Ken Stead that took the training when I was there. And they made us, it was like being honestly back at primary school when you're holding each other's hands and running up round a cone. And Ange was over, I can remember this day, Ange was over talking to it was like a coaching day they were calling it. So all the coaches for the suburbs would come in and watch your training. But we're doing wheelbarrow races and the guys I've played in the champ, like Oz has fucking get so many caps for Australia, captain of Australia. It was crazy. And then you're like, what the hell's happening here? But to be fair, when I look back and Ange done the sessions, they were actually good. I actually took a couple of them for myself and still do them.
I really appreciate the hours that some of you are investing into watching the podcasts that we've done in the past. But I'd like to ask you to do me one favour that would take you seconds. If you enjoy the show, please hit the subscribe button. And if you enjoy any show in particular, please click on the thumbs up. It'll make a massive difference to the podcast. So thanks very much for your continued support, feedback, and I hope you enjoy this one.